Hello everyone, how you doing? This is Intro to Maya, introduction to the series, and I am Paco Casares. So I have been a 3D digital artist for the past 12 years, but also in the past I have done a little bit of teaching at AIE, so I've done computer graphics for augmented reality, virtual reality, also for video games. I've done a remake of Zelda for the Wii U, and I've done a little bit of work for Adidas, Nissan, Samsung. So I've dabbled a little bit everywhere, but in the last 3 years, I have worked for AIA, which is a very well renowned computer graphics school where I taught mainly how to do computer graphics for video games and film. So just to get started, and also as a heads up, in this video, we are not yet dwelling into Maya in terms of using it. It's more about you getting a bit of a summary. What is Maya useful? Where can you find Maya? Where is Maya used? And then once we get a little bit more into understanding where is Maya used, a little bit of the culture that I'm going to try to implement is a YouTube series because um, it's not about using the software, it's about understanding the fundamentals, how we apply the art fundamentals into the art, but also the workflow on what are the steps being used within the software. It's not just understanding where the buttons are and what menus to find. It's about the order on the things that has to be done. So it's a little bit of logic. Yeah. So this is what to expect is the lesson style. This is going to be more like a class. So um, it's not about using fancy music or fancy intros or making it commercial. This is about me having you as your teacher, and I'm going to do this in a way that you learn, right? Gonna go through what's Maya, what are the common 3D competitors, because I think it's important to understand that when you are choosing what is Maya before you even start, I want to give you the option to say, hang on a second, are you sure this is the one that you want to learn? Because you also have these other 3D tools. Also, a bit of a selection on what games is used for Maya, what movies we made with Maya, what are the industries that's out there with Maya, and yeah, what to expect from this introductory series with Maya. Now, like I said, again, this is going to be like a classroom, and by this I mean this is going to be done with step by step with a pause. So you will explain the concept twice. It will be the first time will be quite fast. And the reason why I'm going to do this quite fast is because it's important for people to know what are you doing. Is it are you modeling a 3D can, or are you extruding, or what is the workflow? So I will do it very quick so you can go click and be like, ah, I know what he's doing. And then after that, I'm going to do it quite slow, step by step, just in case you've missed a point or a step. This will make the learning experience a little bit more authentic because I'm not going to do any video editing with the videos. If I make a mistake or anything, or all of a sudden my mother decides to walk in the door, I might edit that out. Or if there is the computer freezes, then I'll just stop that and resume again after that. But it's going to be as little interruptions as possible. There's not going to be any editing. It's going to feel authentic, like you're actually in class. Um, I do recommend, however, that sometimes you do pause the video, and K is the shortcut in YouTube. But if you're using another video player, then there might be a different shortcut. J is to search 10 seconds backwards. L is to seek forward 10 seconds. So feel free to expect from that. But also, yeah, theory is expected with a lot of these videos. So it's not just about you learning how to use the program or how to do 3D modeling, is the logic behind why we do the steps that we do. Okay. So what is Maya? Maya is a very common free professional tool that's used was it's developed by Autodesk, but it was created by a different program company. Don't remember right now which one is that, but it's been around for the last 3 decades, and it is used in many different industries, right? And that includes, high quality visual effects, animations, video game companies, and it's played a significant role to bring concepts to life. So I really recommend Maya. I've also used other free tools other than Maya, but it has a very extensive set of tools and features. So it's very common to feel very overwhelmed at first whenever you use Maya and you look at the interface. It's got so many buttons and so many menus and so many departments, but no professional will ever use every single element or every single thing in the software. Say that you are a 3D modeler, you might only use 2 or 3 shelves and 2 or 3 menus. If you are an animator, or if you are a rigger, or if you are a renderer, or if you do shaders, or if you do scripting, you would only use a very specific part of the software. And that's because it's got a very comprehensive set of tools and features, that it is very robust and it's got a very flexible architecture. By this, I mean, in a lot of companies, they will use Python and they will use Mel in order to change parts of the interface or implement plugins that are usually created by technical artists in order to implement better workflows and tools for that specific company. That said, with a lot of these tools and a lot of these tool sets or plugins, a lot of these can also be created by individuals from a very strong community support. So if there is a very specific task that you need to do, most likely there's a plugin out there for you too, and I will show you some of those websites or plugins that you can use. Um, and yeah, it's really, really common in the industry. I would be very surprised if there is a company that doesn't use Maya. They might use Blender instead, or they might use 3D Max, and I will talk a little bit of that right now. All right, so the reason why I'm talking about competitors is because now is a good time to switch if you don't want to learn a little bit of one and be like, okay, now I'm going to learn another one, because you might get a little bit confused with the shortcuts. For example, the way they use the camera in 3D Max and Blender differs a lot from Maya, and where you can find the buttons and the shortcuts. So a lot of people will always be asking, which one should I use? And it's really hard to say which one, because each one has got their advantages and disadvantages, and it's not about which one is the best one. It's about which one you are going to be working the most, and where they're using the specific software. So if you are, for example, looking into doing architecture modeling, then 3D Max is definitely the one to go, right? Or if you're working on motion graphics, maybe Cinema 4D will be more recommended for you. But that said, I have used 3D Max for a number of years in the past, and I really like 3D Max, and it's got really, really good modeling workflows and modeling tools. And it's mostly used in architectural visualization, product design, and character animation. And the problem with 3D Max, however, is that the user interface is a little bit harder. It's got a bit of a steep learning curve in compared to Maya for beginners, and the user interface is a little bit less intuitive. Moving next, we have Blender. So Blender is 100% free, and it is open source. So if you are in a very, very tight budget and you don't want to spend a lot of money, Blender is 100% recommended, and it is gaining a lot of popularity lately. And with each update, they are releasing better and better tools. Um, the problem with Blender, however, is that it is not common in the industry. and it's got distinct pipelines to what is usually common and seen in other companies within the industry. However, that could always change in the future. So, um, keep an eye on Blender. I think best is to know Blender eventually after Maya, because there's a lot of studios who are going to use one and then the other one, right? However, if anyone here is interested in doing motion graphics, Cinema 4D is great. I've never used Cinema 4D because I think I've got enough with 3D Max, Blender, and Maya. But I've heard that it's a very good user-friendly. It's got a good interface. It's got intuitive workflows, and it is a very common choice for doing design and motion graphics. However, it is limited with animation and visual effects, from what I've heard. Um, Now, when it comes to common games done with 3D modeling, with Maya, you have games like the Assassin's Creed, you have games like the Final Fantasy series, The Last of Us, and Cyberpunk. Um, there is a lot of games that are done with Maya. When it comes to movies and animation, you have things like Avatar, Final Fantasy as well. Um, Turning Red. So actually, Maya was initially created and done for Pixar in mind. So if you go to Wikipedia and you type in Maya Autodesk Wikipedia, most likely the history will say that it's been created 30 years ago for the use of Pixar. So it would be good to have a quick look now, do some research to see how Autodesk was created, but also for special effects for movies such as Dune, right, by Double Negative. The cool thing about when it comes to um, 3D modeling is that it's not just limited to games, or it's not just limited to visual effects or to animation. What is a very good way to start with the industry is that you can actually use it as well for architectural visualization, urban landscaping. For example, this image here was done in conjunction with some artists in Urban Circus, and I worked on this image myself. But it can also be done for printing or advertising. It can be done for virtual augmented reality, which will be very common in the future. Everyone's going to be wearing 3D glasses or augmented reality glasses, and 3D modeling is just growing exponentially over the years. 3D printing, I did not use a regular 3D printer, like a small sized plastic 3D printer, because I think it's very exciting to notice that it's actually being used for architecture in the future as well, and we're going to have full buildings that are going to be printed with concrete and other materials, and we're going to have full buildings that we're going to have 3D model and then have 3D printed, which is quite exciting. As we draw close to a conclusion, uh, the expectations for this course is that we're going to have step by step on how to uh, do a lot of these things. We're going to start by doing the user interface, how to navigate around with the camera, how to create a basic printers, but also how to set them up. I will try to make the videos to be bite-sized from 5 to 10 minutes, so it's very easy for you to finish one video and then move on to the next one. This is already now turning into 40 minutes because I do sometimes ramble, but you do have to forgive me. I will try to do a little bit less rambling. And the way that we are going to do is I do expect from all of you, once you finish this video, that you have this video series, is that you have a small office where you might have a few things, like we might do a 3D modeling of a can, we might do a 3D modeling of a bottle or a glass, and then we're gonna fill up a table. We're gonna do a 3D model of a basic table, and we're gonna fill up this table with very basic 3D modeling where you can just get into the hang on learning as we do all of this. Now that you've got a bit of a gist, we're gonna get started with Maya. We're gonna open Maya, and we're going to look a little bit into the Maya interface. So it's going to be like a map to say, all right, so this is where the things are. You will find this here, you will find this here, but also how to move the camera. And yeah, I will expect you to the next video. Feel free to share this around or like it. The way that I will be releasing these videos is I will be releasing them very gradually, but I'm not gonna necessarily be advertising them. This is just to put them out there, just in case somebody wants to already start learning about Maya, start learning about the user interface or the navigation, and then very gradually I might update them or change them or make them better as I am also learning on how to release tutorial videos on YouTube. But I have been teaching for 3 years, so I think this will still be a lot of fun. And yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.